So I was in London a few months ago. That's where I'm from. And I saw a family taking pictures in front of these random monuments that we have in London. And I was thinking, do these people actually know who these monuments are? Who are these statues that we always take pictures of? There's a statue, let's take a click. So it made me think about how many male monuments we have in London and how many female monuments we have in London. So I went to my best friend, Google, and I Googled that there are currently 1,500 monuments in London of males. So how many do we think there are of females? 50. 50 women monuments, which is not a bad thing. But I'm here to make a difference and to really, really shout about women as well as men and shout about the different race and the ethnic culture that comes with it as well. Although things are changing in tech, the number of women is much lower than any other industry. Does anyone want to guess the number of women in tech globally right now out of these percentages? Anyone want to hazard a guess? Yes? 23%. Did I talk to you earlier about my percentages? I think I did. 23%, thank you. Correct. So 23% make up women in tech globally. It was 19% in 2019, so the number is on the rise. Without a diverse workforce, tech is an industry that is being held back. We live in a diverse world. Technology serves people from different cultures, backgrounds, race, and gender. There are lots of reasons why this percentage might be lower for women. Here's a few. We all remember the big C, COVID, the pandemic. A lot of women went out, a lot of people went out and actually started their own business. And women obviously go out and start their families, that's another reason. Women tried to get back into the tech industry, but they're sometimes rejected or declined rather, that's a more positive word, I guess. And they're declined because they're not up to date with the latest technology. However, women are actually eager to learn. We're all eager to learn in this day and age. We all want to be moving with the market. If we also think about the female role models that we have, a lot of people don't know a lot of female role models. And it's only when I decided to talk about this topic that I actually went to my best friend Google again. And I wanted to see how many percentage of people actually know role models in tech. 78% of women cannot name a famous female working in technology or someone who's worked in technology. These are the lovely women that we can actually talk about, so I'll talk about a few, not all of them, not to bore you. But Ada Lovelace, she was the world's first computer programmer, a role model for all ages. She was one of the first to recognise that the machine had applications beyond pure calculation. Hedy Lamarr, the inventor who pioneered the technology that would one day form the basis of today's Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth communications, which I'm sure we all use now on our mobile phones and everywhere else. Mary Wilkes, she planned to become a lawyer, but was discouraged because of the challenges. So she worked as one of the first programmers and worked on IBM 704 and 705. Elizabeth Feinler, who worked on the first query-based network, known as the White and Yellow Pages. Do you all remember the Yellow Pages, the big, thick books? And which obviously led to directories that we can now see online. We also might know... Oh, did that come up? It's a bit delayed, sorry. We also know Sheryl Sandberg, the former CEO of Facebook. She played a significant role in the industry and has been a role model for a lot of us women. This next slide, oh, not that one. This next slide represents the representation percentages of people in tech. So if you look at the entry level, you've got 34% white men versus 18% men of colour. The women, you've got 29% white women, 18% of non-white. The senior managers, 48% versus 16% of white men versus none. White women, 20% versus 9%. I'm here to try and get these numbers up, and this is something we can all do together. Thank you. So, a little bit about me. I can actually dress like that. My dad actually FaceTimed me earlier, and he said, "Why aren't you wearing a sari?" I was like, "Dad, no." There's no way. So, a bit about me. My parents were born in East Africa, Uganda. My grandparents were actually born in India, but because they were part of the British colony, my grandfather got sent to Uganda to fight in the army. That's where he met my grandmother. It does get very complicated with my family, so bear with me. He met my grandmother. They had 10 children, 10, of which 9 were boys and 1 was a girl. Right? So you can just imagine what was going on in that household. My dad came to the UK in 1967 with £20 in his pocket, which was a lot of money then. He actually got his plane ticket paid for by some rich person in Africa. He came here and he literally went to find he was staying in another relative's house where there was about 10 of them living in one room. He went to find a job. He was willing to clean toilets. He still couldn't get a job. Racism was a very big thing back then as well, very big thing. My dad then, he's a very successful man. I'm glad he's not watching online right now, though, because he would really, really record that bit. But he is a very, very successful man. The irony of it is he actually had a corner shop. He used to work 17-hour days, and that was something that I did not want for myself. We could call it child labour, but he used to make me go to the shop from the age of 9 years old every Saturday to work 12 hours and give me £5 for those 12 hours. So I was like, no, I'm not going to be doing this. No way. I wanted a work-life balance. I think it's so important to have a work-life balance. So, a bit about me. I was born in the UK. I'm in my early 40s, believe it or not. I do have an Eastern culture within me, but I've been brought up to have Western values as well. It's been very hard for me to be brought up in the UK, being an British Indian woman. But I have been brought up with values and morals, and I do have a very diverse background. If you want to know more, catch me at the bar when I'm drinking my tequila later. I'm sure we all have idols that we look up to, and this was my idol. My grandmother, who had the 10 children, she had nothing. She wasn't educated. She couldn't speak English. She only spoke Gujarati. And back in Africa, she was known to just feed people. People would just go to her house to have food. And that's what Indians are actually known for as well, feeding people. Don't come to me and ask me to cook for you today, though. She's taught me to be the woman that I am. She was actually named in my community as captain. So she's a very, very well-respected lady in our community. I'll be honest with you, my situation changed on Friday. I was made redundant from my current role. However, I had this opportunity to come here and speak. And it did go through my mind, oh my God, I cannot do this. I cannot. go to a conference on my own. The travelling on the plane and everything's fine, but being in a room full of 600 to 700 people and not knowing anyone, what am I going to do? But this is when my grandmother came into place. And I thought, if anyone can, I can. I'm a woman working in tech, and I've got a diverse background, and I will go and I will succeed. Thank you. So she's always taught me to keep my identity, as we said about my name being Abhipsa, which a lot of people have struggled when they see it. They're like, oh my God, it's easy, Abhipsa. So when I don't know what's wrong with this clicker. So I used to spell my name Abby. And then I went to a meeting. I won't tell you who it was with. But I went to a meeting and they were somewhat surprised to see me. I therefore started spelling my name as ABHI to keep my identity, to make sure that people knew that I wasn't English, not that there's anything wrong with it, but so that people wouldn't be surprised when they did actually meet me. But a lot of people call me Abs, and you can call me Abs, it's fine. So a little background on my career. I left university, I studied marketing. And I left university and it took me about a year to find a job. It was really, really tough. And that's got nothing to do with me being a woman or me being an Asian woman. I don't think it did. I think the competition back then was huge, but I think now it's even bigger. So I started working at a company called Exact Software, which is a Dutch company. And I really needed to stand out from the crowd. So what I decided to do was go to my interview well prepared. And I know that this company used to send a letter and a brochure to about 1,000 finance directors a month. Now, if you're a director at that level, you're going to be getting a lot of emails, and this was when direct mails was really in fashion and nothing was online. So I went to my meeting and I came up with an idea, and I told the hiring manager this, and it was, rather than send 1,000, why don't we just send 10 a week? You personalize it, you get a clock, put the Exact Software logo on it, set the time, get a foldable box, do a personalised letter, put stamps on the box so it doesn't go through the franking machine, and actually say, dear Mr. Smith, we're sending you this clock. When this clock hits 10 o'clock on the 30th of May, 1998, Mr. Salesperson will call you. And actually, we sent 10 a week, and we had a 5% response rate. And that's kind of why I got the job, obviously, because it was my idea, and that's something that you really need to do is really, really stand out from the rest. So from Exact Software, I went into online gaming. From online gaming, I went into retail. Dreams, the leading bed specialist, you might have heard of, actually. I forget you're not all from the UK. And then I went into the fashion industry. I worked for a company called Lipsy, which is owned by Next. And Next, obviously, in the UK, they used to send out these big, big directories. And what they were doing is replicating what they had in the book online, and it just was not working. I quickly found working in fashion was really not for me. I really couldn't do it. I just couldn't stand all the clicks that were going on and all the gossiping, and I'm very much a black and white person. What you see is what you get. So I left there and I went to work as a digital project manager at 3M. They're the ones that do the little post-it notes. It's the best way, and sellotape. It's the best way to tell you guys who it is. I then went to another agency and another agency and another agency, and then I ended up at Dotcentric. So that's kind of a little bit on my background. I'm happy to go into more details if anyone wants to know anything more. Now, going on to the interesting stuff. Does anyone know what DEI stands for? Oh, go on. What does it stand for?
Diversity, equity,
Yes, such a big topic, such a massive topic. And I know that Umbraco stand by this as well. So it's a sense of belonging. It's 3 closely linked values held by an organisation. And it's you want to feel that you belong in that company. So diversity is the presence of differences within a setting. It's not only gender, but it's race, ethnicity, age. Equity is the process of ensuring that practices and programs are impartial, fair, and provide equal possible outcomes for every individual. Inclusion is the practice of ensuring people feel a sense of belonging in the workplace. This means that every employee should feel comfortable and supported. Diverse organisations are inherently happier, more productive, and more competitive in their industries. Diversity isn't just a buzzword. Or a nice to have. It's an absolute priority that people really, really need to start believing in. And it is not just for the people that work for you, it's also to build your employee brand. One of the most commonly liked benefits for diversity in the workplace is it can increase opportunities for learning whilst also enhancing everyone's capacity for innovation and further improvement. People who come from different backgrounds will have unique perspectives and ways of thinking. This allows them to unlock new ideas. You know, and being a diverse team, you want to balance off each other. You also want to learn about people and their cultures and everything that they've got to offer. As team members come together towards a common goal and empower one another, it can only improve the future of your company. The value of diversity is only fully captured when an organisation has all 3 armed together. So diversity, equity, and inclusion together. There are 4 key domains. In addition to profitability, there are 4 key domains in which inclusion and diversity can significantly affect an organisation's overall performance. You're going to win talent. People want to work for your company. You want to improve the quality of decision-making. You want to bring multiple perspectives to the table. You want your customers to know that you're diverse. You want your customers to know that you're global. And if you're not global, that you've got kind of a diverse team. You want to increase customer insight and innovation. You also want to drive employee motivation and satisfaction. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is good for your organisation for both your brand and your culture. According to Gartner, employees who work in a diverse and inclusive team see a 12% increase in performance. Let me just go through this in more detail. It reduces recruitment bias, which can promote a diverse culture with new perspectives, ideas, and innovation employee engagement. It also creates a workplace where employees feel they are heard. They're heard, they're respected, and feel a sense of belonging. You have greater employee retention. You have less people looking for jobs, which means you're not spending as much money on recruitment fees and agencies. If the workplace atmosphere isn't great, it can foster a toxic company culture, and it can cause people to leave their jobs, where you have increased staff turnover, which also doesn't look good if you're trying to attract new talent to your company. As I've also said, it improves productivity. It increases diversity, brings a broad range of experiences, skills, and backgrounds, which can certainly have a positive impact. I had a look at a few companies with diversity strategies, and I've just picked 3 that I thought were very strong. So Sodexo has a big focus on gender parity. It's been included in Bloomberg's Gender Equity Index. It's got 37% of executive committee are women, 60% of its boards, 60% of women are in its board of directors. It also has an LGBTQ policy. The next one, Johnson & Johnson. Its chief diversity officer reports directly to the CEO and the chairman, meaning that the decisions that are made are by the top management. Cisco, keeps doing this, sorry. Cisco, 50% of the workforce are non-white, 50%. There's no other company that has that I know of. 42% of senior management are women. And they've embarked on a 5-year journey where they've spent $300 million to commit to explore new ways and initiatives for their diversity strategy. So, just to conclude. How do we attract more women and more diversity in our companies? We need to conduct the most appropriate hiring interview process. As I'm currently looking for a job, I was on LinkedIn, and I noticed on LinkedIn, there's a button which says DEI, and when you click that button, it shows the companies that actually are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think that's brilliant. So you conduct the most appropriate hiring interview process. You have a mixed panel of women and men, white, black, Indian. Have a mix, show that you are diverse, show a potential candidate that. This could also work when you're trying to win new business, to show your customers and your potential customers that. Showcase your current and future diversity initiatives. This is exactly what these companies are doing on LinkedIn. People who have had a career break or have had family issues or have gone away to have a family, give them a chance. They want to learn. People who've actually had a career break are probably more inclined to learn than the people who are actually working for the last 5 years, right? Also, I said to my dad, what's your definition of a job in tech? And he's like, a coder, a gamer. No. I'm a project manager. You get project managers, you get design teams, you get UX people, you get QAs. It's not just about development. Tech is so big, and we need to really, really voice this out, that working in tech doesn't just mean that you've got to be a coder or a developer. And remember, there have been a few talks on AI today, and I picked this comment up just as I was in one of the talks. Remember that your output is based on your input. If your input isn't diverse, your output is not going to be diverse. Keep that in mind. So together, everyone, let's make a change. We can do it. Let's really, really take away some of what I've said today, if we can. Let's make it a better place, as Michael Jackson would say. But, there's so much going on in the world. Let's just make our workplace a happy place to work. I've also been very cheeky, and let's connect on LinkedIn if you haven't got me already. Thank you, everyone. If anyone's got any questions, let me know.